My first mistake was asking for advice and opinions on the dress I was going to wear. So I'm gonna walk you through my entire engagement party planning process, what I wish I'd done differently, what I really enjoyed, so you can have an absolutely amazing time planning and just enjoying and basking in yours. So I wanna start with this. You're gonna learn a lot about the way that people act when you start planning your wedding. And what I like to say is people's personalities 10x. Like if somebody you know is a little bit anxious during your wedding, they're gonna become 10 times as anxious. Same with nosy or anything else under the sun. Now, something that wedding planning has taught me a lot about is my own personal style. So as soon as I knew that I was gonna have an engagement party, I've never really had a party about myself. I guess when I was younger, I had birthday parties and stuff, but as I've gotten older, I never really did. So I was really focusing on what would make me feel confident. And what I realized was a lot of people in my family tend to extend their anxieties onto other people, whoever is in their way. And for them, it was me. So I ended up really finding this gorgeous Wild Rose and Sparrow dress, which is the absolutely most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life. It has this little button where the rest of it is flat, but you can kind of lift up one part of it and have it hanging there, which I think is just divine. The bows on the sleeves and just the really whimsical way that it hangs. I had an absolute ball in this dress. I had such a good time. When I initially told people and showed people, I was like, oh, this is the dress I want to wear. Now, my friends were awesome. Most of my friends were really awesome. They're like, that's amazing. That's so you. That's so whimsical. But there were a lot of members of my family that were like, oh, you don't want to be drawing too much attention to yourself. That's not appropriate. What are you trying to prove? All of these crazy things. And for a while I was like, am I actually crazy? Am I actually crazy for wanting a dress that looks like this? It was actually perfect. I was looking at it for such a long time. And then I realized the people around me are just projecting their fears onto me. So if I have one piece of advice throughout the entire wedding planning process, it would be to understand that whenever somebody is having a reaction about something, it's mostly to do with themselves and not with you. So it actually took me a long time to really understand, it's okay, I'm gonna wear the heck out of this dress, I'm gonna have so much fun in it. And I did. The pictures of me at my engagement party, I am flying my dress everywhere, I am twirling around, I am having the best time in it. And I honestly have been having it hanging in one of my rooms so that every time I walk by it, I can see it, because I'm I can't possibly just wear it once. This is the most beautiful dress I've ever seen. And I'm even having some ideas about how my wedding dress is gonna look very similar to this. My first piece of advice is really just as cheesy and conventional as it sounds, understand that people's fears are going to be projected onto you as if it's your fault or you've done something wrong. And you just have to remember that every time they're hesitant about something, it's because they have their own self-conscious beliefs of oh, well, I've never been able to dress like that. Well, I judge people who are too much. Now, when it comes to the actual planning, I am a mood board type girly. So what I did was I really started out by making a mood board. Once we actually figured out what the venue would be, which was a place called Portobello in Oakland, New Jersey, I knew that I wanted to complement some of the colors in there with purple. Now, love the food. Overall, it was a great experience. There were some service issues, but it was we can all laugh about it. What I didn't love about it, and what I'm definitely, I know for our wedding, our venue, the interior colors are so much prettier, but I did not love that the interior colors of the walls were yellow. So think about the color of the actual space that you're gonna be in. If you're gonna be outside, what are the colors that are gonna be there, and then what can you complement it with your signage and your decor and even your dress. So for me, my dress is technically a yellowy off-white, so it didn't look great in the interior of it, but honestly, because it was a bit of a quick turnaround, because we live far away from where our engagement venue was, and we were already gonna be up there for Easter, we were kind of trying to coordinate it for that, so we didn't have a lot of time to put it together. It was totally fine, had a great time, lots of memories, it was awesome. Just think about that. Think about how the interior of the place is going to look with your dress and how it's gonna look with the scheme that you would want. Now, for the most part, you're not gonna have too much control, especially if it's an open space like ours was, over like what the vibe is going to be aside from the interior. Like there's gonna be little accents that you can add, but it's not like people are gonna walk in and be like, whoa, it's your design. They're gonna see the venue. They've probably never seen the venue. So they're gonna be like, oh, look at the venue. Oh, look at those little accents. So it's gonna be secondary. So just understand that. Wedding could be a little bit different. You know, it takes months and months and months to get everything together, and they probably have a way of making sure that there's themes and different colored placemats and all that stuff. But because we did a space that was technically an open concept space, like we couldn't even customize the music because it was just an open room in one of the parts of the restaurant, there wasn't a lot of customization, which was, it was fine, it was fun. It was great. But what I did was I did want it to have some accents of what my ring color is, which is this really, really pretty, it's a amethyst stone that my friend customized for me. So I wanted to draw in the theme of this a little bit more. So what I did was I went on good old Adobe Illustrator and I created a sign. Well, you know what? Let me go back, because the first thing that I actually did was I decorated the invitations. And remember when I was saying that the interior is yellow, I made the invitations. This is actually my mom's idea. So I wanted the actual color of this to be a very similar color to my ring. And then my mom was like, well, since the interior is yellow, maybe you have yellow in the card. So we did that. This is, I hand drew in Procreate. It's the two Greek crowns. When you get married, there's this like crown that you put on. And then I also had this little RSVP QR code in the back to Partyful, which I really like. The only thing I'm upset that I forgot about was I wanted to send a text to everyone who RSVP'd in Partyful to add photos to it. So like some people did, because a lot of people have used Partyful before, but I forgot to do that, and I definitely want to make sure that there's some way that people can do that for the wedding. There was one thing that I was really upset about with Walgreens printing, and again, this is a last minute thing. I mean, not super last minute, but like time was not on our side here. I don't love that they had they had this. So what I did was I covered it up with some washi tape, because I was like, that's no. So this was the card, and you've seen what the venue looks like. So you can kind of see how they already correlate. So there's a really important part too of when you think about like making your card, you want it to tie in thematically to what the place is going to look like and what the decor is going to be at that place. What I didn't want was I didn't want there to be like a big flower arrangement at the middle of every table, because what happens with that is that then you can't like talk to the people across from you and have a grand old time. So instead what I did was I went to Hobby Lobby, I went to TJ Maxx, and I went to a few thrift stores, but the ones here, it's kind of a hit or miss, as all are. And I wanted to find like 3 things to go in the middle of every table, depending on the venue. We had, I believe, 7 tables, and some of them are larger and some of them were smaller. So I got some extra stuff so I can add some extra things to the larger tables. And then there was like a table for like cake and desserts and such. And that was a long table. So what we did was I got some pictures of both of us and I put that there, and we put some extra flowers and decorations there, basically anything we had left over. And what I did before the engagement party, my friend brought me to Trader Joe's and I got a bunch of flowers there. You can also get flowers at Whole Foods. Like, don't overthink the flowers, especially for the engagement party. There's awesome flowers at both of those places. So what I did was, for the center of each table, I found these at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, so I found these at Hobby Lobby. And what I did was I got these little pearl stickers and I put them on top of it. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, so I made a little accent of each of the pearls. And then I actually found this at Hobby Lobby as well. And it was actually meant for like your garden. It was meant to put in your plants. But I was like, these are amazing. Butterfly is literally my middle name. So I put it on the side, and what I did was I just had very tiny little flowers that went in here. So maybe like if you find baby's breath or something, just a few little ones. So that way it was short enough, it maybe went up to here, that people are not going to be like, where are you? It's not going to be difficult for people to talk to each other. Now, I know that some wedding venues have this cool, I don't even know what it's called, but it's this thing where it's very long and the flowers are on top of it so you can talk through people. I definitely want to figure that out when I get there. It feels like very overly elegant. Maybe it's like too much for me. Maybe it's perfect. I don't know. So the second thing in the middle of every table, I found these at Hobby Lobby, and they're just like little candle holders. And I got, you can see the wax like melt inside of it. But I'm very particular about my scents. I only use like all natural scents in my life. That's just the type of person I am. So I really, really love the Good Light candles because they are all natural scents. And this is the honeysuckle. So I believe I got all honeysuckle ones. And so maybe like 30 minutes before the party started, I lit all of them so it smelled like honeysuckle at their table. I love it so much. And it really did. Like when I smell this, I do think of my engagement party, which is so special. At this point, I'm like, there's a lot of glass. There's a lot of glass. And if you know anything about feng shui, which I know very little about, I know that you don't really want to have too many of one thing. So if you, let's say like if you've ever been into a home that has a lot of wood, you might feel really heavy. It's like those wood walls and then wood furniture and then the wood floors, and there's nothing watery like this, nothing that gives a reflection. But equally also, if you have things that have too much of a reflection, at least for me, it feels a little bit too ethereal and not grounded. So I was like, I need to find a third thing, even though this has like flowers in it, so there is some greenery, I needed a third thing that was going to add some grounding to it. So what I did was I went over to TJ Maxx just on like a random Saturday. It was super busy, but it's okay. It was #worth it. And I went to their frame section and I found all different picture frames. So one of them has a butterfly, one of them has this, and I can't even really continue talking until I talk to you about what is inside of each of them. How cute. And this is so great too because now I can have these forever. Like look how gorgeous and whimsical they are. This one, I was having so much fun just going through TJ Maxx and being like, ooh, this is us. This is us, like this one. So I added something in here a little bit louder to complement the fact that this is a little bit more simplistic. Another scallopy one. I also added little bows. So going back to the larger picture for a second, always tying back to, remember like our theme and our mood board. So I wanted it again to complement this ring and like one of my favorite colors. So I wanted every single picture frame to have this same bow that has this like white to symbolize the wedding and then this really pretty tulle purple color. And I also did it to match the bow with the bows on my dress. So it's very subtle. I don't think anyone would, no one's come back to me and been like, hey, I noticed that the bows on your picture frames match the bows on your dress, but it's all subtle. Like think about when you watch movies or television shows, you're not going to notice everything, but you're just gonna notice that something is right, something's consistent, something's working, and you just can't tell what it is. That's what it is. What are some themes, colors, shapes, textures, styles that you want to incorporate that might not be obvious? You might not have like a bow drawn on something, but maybe there's just little bows here and little bows there, and it's very subtle, but it ties everything together. So you might be asking, why does it say sunny in here? Why does it say glow in here? And why does it look like there's all these different colored pictures? I did not want anybody to feel like, oh, I'm at table 1, I'm the best, or I'm the worst, or table 8 is better. Like I did not want to use any numbers in it. So I decided to name the tables based off of that, based off of different words that I liked. And literally what I did is I went into my Magnolia magazines, my favorite magazines, and I cut out things that I liked. So I cut out words that I liked. You can kind of see that, oh yeah, even the cover of this, I don't remember what I cut out. Oh, you know what I cut out? I cut out the word hearth because one of the tables was hearth. I don't know if we kept it. I think there were maybe too many tables. But I just clipped through pictures and was like, ooh, I really like this pattern. Because my theme was whimsical, fairy core, all of that, it makes sense to have a very scrapbooky feel. Like if you want something a little more minimalistic, what you could do is you can find frames like this, but you just have like a very tiny number in it. And you just have a very like matte, solid color in here, like one of the colors, maybe a white or a color that you like or the color of your ring, and you just make that the statement. Because as much as I like some more loud, busy stuff, there is an art to minimalism. There is such an art to minimalism. So many people want to add more. I find like it is so hard for people to restrain themselves. It's a lot easier to add a lot of things. It's very hard to restrain yourselves and be like, no, it just needs the number 1 and that's it. So if you can do that, like find a really cute font, or if you want to do something like this and pull some of your favorite words and just make it that. You can also do that. But just think about the sorts of themes that you like, and you can go from there. So I basically started by like categorizing. I don't even remember how I did it. Like, you can kind of see that for a frame like this frame is very simplistic. So I made the inside of it very busy. And I also tried to attribute it to the actual word. So I literally just spent like an hour on FaceTime with my friend. I was cutting up just things that I like. I just said, Kira, cut things that you like and categorize it later. Then I found the words. And so then I decided, okay, maybe I should find, if I'm able to find things that are associated with this word, let me do that. But then I had to decide, okay, well, which frame is it gonna go inside? Because if it's a busier frame, I don't want it to have a lot of things, or vice versa. Oh yeah, here, hearth. So this was a busier frame. So I actually did do a pattern inside of it, but it was a different scale pattern. These are like larger scales, and I made it a smaller scale pattern. But I did, if you can see, I made this a little bit more simple and poppy, so it didn't get lost behind the pattern. Same thing for this one. I actually also grabbed things from my Katie Daisy journal. They have the most darling patterns, and so I saw magic in one of them, and I just thought that was so cute. So as you can see here, this is a little bit more patterny, so I kept this simple. I think this was our table because this frame was bigger than all of them, so I was like, let me just make our table the bigger one, so people are just like, oh, that's, you know, if there were to be a special table, it'd be like the bride and groom. So it's like, let's not make anyone feel bad if they have like the bigger or the smaller one. I'm sure they won't, but I just need everybody to be really happy and have the most perfect time, and that's it. Is that so much to ask? This one was a little bit more minimalistic too. And as I actually went into this, I was also thinking about the people that would be placed at this table. This one was a little bit more minimalistic too, because this had a pattern. I feel like this is where our parents were. And I took some Katie Daisy patterns and I put it on top of some Magnolia patterns. I just love that so much. This is a little bit of a combination. I love this one so much. Part of me is like, I don't even want to take out the interior because it's so cute. Like, I just want to pepper these around my house. And that's honestly what I've done. That's another big part of your engagement party. It's like, who says that you can't wear a short dress? Or who says that you even need to wear white? Like, I decided to wear white, but there's no reason that you need to wear white. As much as, yes, you might have family, and there's also a weird dynamic too when like family's paying for it and you're like, okay, well, you're paying. So there's certain things that I'm like, listen, I will pay for this because I want it to be how I want it to be. So just understand those dynamics are gonna come about. They're totally normal. And there are really no rules. You're allowed to have your wedding how you want it, just because there's gonna probably be people in your family who are very traditional and expecting one thing, and when people's expectations aren't met, again, they're going to make it like on someone else. They're gonna almost make it seem like it's your fault that their expectations weren't met, when in reality, they have expectations of something that really doesn't really need them. I love this one. And I also liked how the bow was kind of popping out from the side. The other reason why I put these at the back, and it's very hard to use examples other than what I've been given, but just think about like the ideas that you have for yourself. So for me, being the chronic people pleaser that I am, I was like, well, a frame is not gonna go all the way around. So there's only gonna be half, if it's round table and squares tables, only half of the people are going to actually see the frame. The other half are gonna see the back of the frame. So that's why I put these here. So I'm like, okay, one side of the table is gonna see the front and the other side is gonna see a bow. So it's good either way. In line with this theme, thinking back again to this ring, and think about the color of your ring. Like, if you don't know what color you want it to be, what the scheme is gonna be, think about the color of your ring. If you have a little bit more time, think about finding venues with walls that are going to have the same color as your ring, or like complement it. It's kind of hard to find places with walls that are like purple or something, but just think about the interior of the place, the lighting, and how that's going to play with everything else. From there, I then designed this board. It's the similar color to my ring. And the scalloped is very whimsical, and this floral is very whimsical as well. I went with this like it's like a kind of a storybook font. I don't know, it's really cute. I used this like sans serif font here, so it was a little bit easier for people to read. Like, I didn't want this font everywhere because it could get too much. And this again goes back to when do you know when to scale down? When do you know when to do less? It was very hard for me to not be like, oh, let me add some dots over here. Like I was adding a bunch of stuff and I'm like, here, calm down, stop, like keep it simple. And I basically had the tables here. And so you can kind of see how this ties in with this, the scallop and the scallop. Over here, I kind of added this very dramatic effect of like this, the background of this being here. I wrote that's amore, XOXO. You can see all the table names like Dream, Flower, Garden, Glow, and I tried to just make it feel like there wasn't a tier. So you can kind of see how my mood board and my ring and the adjectives that I'm using is tying in with everything. So going back to what color is your ring, what color's the dress you're gonna wear or your favorite colors, what are 2 to 3 adjectives that you want it to feel like? So there were some things that I weren't able to use, so I ordered these on Amazon and I kind of wanted a backdrop, but there was a wall in there that had flowers that we ended up using. And again, I wish the walls were a different color. I don't love yellow. And what I always want to do is think about what these pictures are going to look like in your home. Like I don't really love red. Red, I actually never have, I do not have any red in my house. So I was making sure that like the venues I was looking for didn't have any red in it, because if I wanted to frame any of these pictures, I didn't want red to be in my house. This was more of like a fun celebration, so I'm okay with that. But if you do want to make sure you get some photos, think about what are the colors that are going to be in the theme. Is it in line with the colors in my home? You can also, if you like the way that your home is decorated, bring those colors into it. And also, like, you're going to find that, I mean, more likely than not, your decor is gonna feel like what your home feels like anyway if you've decorated your home in a way that you like. If you haven't, then maybe this can help inspire you. Like, this really got me very conscious about the way that I dress and what I really like and what I feel comfortable and confident in. There's kind of like a few different vignettes that people have when they come to events like this. They do have, okay, I'm pulling up. They have the drive, and it's very hard to control the drive, but if it's a cute drive, it's ideal. There's the actual exterior of the venue, where this exterior looked very like Italian and cool. Then there's the interior, which also looks very Italian. And then there's one when they sit down. So like they see the walls, they see the space for the first time, but then there's a separate vignette when they go and sit down. And that was what I was trying to make sure felt very whimsical, you know, what I can control with this 1, 2, and the frames. So when they were eating, when they were talking, they felt this warmth. They smelled something good. They saw something cute, whether it was a bow or the actual frame. I also feel like people have this feeling that like everything needs to match. And that was what I think made these like frames, for instance, so fun, because it's actually so much fun to be like, ooh, who would be at Magnolia? And it's not like there needed to be a really deeper reason, but I think some of my extended family was at Magnolia and I was like, oh yeah, because like a tree and I used to be outside with them. I don't know, I was just trying to find ways to like connect it all because that's the type of person I am. But it's actually fun, and it became a fun craft for me, and I would be on FaceTime with my friend, or I would listen to a podcast or something, or watch TV and do it. And so it became a really, really fun experience. And that's a really big part of, I think, the wedding planning experience as a whole, is I really want to enjoy the process as much as possible. And I know everyone says that, but even when it comes to making these choices, it doesn't necessarily need to be those big choices of like the process of shopping for venues and the process of tasting the food. That all, yes, absolutely. But also, like, if you can customize things, if you can make things a little special and feel personal, why not? Because now I'm always going to look back and think about this room when it comes to my wedding planning. I sent out my invitations in this room. And honestly, this is one of our guest rooms and we never really use it, but now I look at it as my crafting room and I have memories in it. Now, like, this isn't our house, we're not gonna live here forever, but it's just like a core memory of being able to do all of that. And also a sense of ownership too. Like, I mean, the pride that I have when people are like, I love your ring, and I'm like, thanks, I designed it. Like, I'm just so excited. I do the same thing with all of these signs and the dress, and being like, oh yeah, the dress, did you see it has this button and blah, 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 blah. Like, I didn't really talk about how to find the place because I feel like that is very event planner heavy, but also like it doesn't need to be. I asked my sister-in-law, who is local to that area, some of the places that she has gone to that she liked. And I used to live up there. So I was also remembering, I'm like, oh, we had a good brunch there, right? Now, again, not everything's gonna be perfect, but that's not the point. The point is like everyone's together, everyone, as many people as possible can feel warm. Another thing that we did that could also be helpful is I think a lot of people assume parties are like dinner time, but it seemed like a lot of the venues we were calling, it was a little bit more affordable to do it during lunchtime. And also I go to sleep at like 9 p.m. every night, so I'm like not about staying up late. So it actually worked really well. And I know my dad wanted it to be early enough too, because we had Easter the next day. So ask them like to come, like let you know like what the dinner options are, and usually it's a per person, and what the lunch options are. Sometimes what they will do too, our option is if we wanted to do dinner, it could actually be at that lunch per person rate, but it would just be fewer it would be like the lunch choices instead of the dinner choices. So maybe there wouldn't be like a fancy steak option or something. So just ask those questions when you are shopping around. Definitely make sure that you have time allotted to set up, time to break down. Depending on your dress, you might want to come in something different if you're going to be setting things up, and then just get dressed there. That's what I did. When I made the envelopes, again, tying in things together, like the same pearls that I had here, I put on the envelopes for the invitation. So again, it's not like anyone would be like, oh wow, you had pearls just like on the envelope, but it's just this feeling of, ooh, something's different, something's consistent. Like, yes, this makes sense, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just that vibe. Have your friends take pictures of you. I have, my friend Rose was really helpful in setting up because we were running a little late. It felt like we didn't have, we could have like used another half an hour to set up. You might not remember to ask people to take pictures. And obviously for my wedding, like we'll have a photographer, but I didn't even think about that for the engagement party because I was like, people are gonna take pictures. No. And probably not the ones that you would like either. So if you have an artsy friend who you want to give a camera to, I do wish I brought my camera. That was one thing I didn't bring that I wish I did. She took great photos on her phone, but make sure like you delegate one person and be like, hey, can you take pictures? Now my sister-in-law was great at that too. She brought in a camera. They're more like formal posed pictures and not as much like candid. Ask one of your friends who is super artsy, be like, hey, can you make sure to grab some candid photos of me like in my dress? And also, I don't think I have any pictures of the actual table arrangement. Like I might have them in the background, but I really wish she got that because I put so much hard work into it. And then I'm like, damn, I don't think I have that anywhere. Anything that is going to be fleeting, anything that's gonna be set up there and then broken down, make sure that you have some person taking a picture of them. This is one of the lifestyle videos on my channel. I also do pop culture breakdowns of TV shows and movies that I absolutely love, and actually just did a read through of the pilot script of Girls because I'm on my Girls series. So if that's something you're interested in and getting another artistic perspective, but more on television shows you absolutely love, go ahead and watch that video next, and I will see you there. Bye.